Joy Strategist from Chasing Joy, and I'm so excited to be doing this video today. This is my first ever pregnancy update. Yay! I'm so excited. So I actually wrote notes, so bear with me because I wanted to make sure to do these videos right and not like ramble on and on and on and on. So I actually took notes. By the way, I'm doing this video from the room that will eventually be the kids' room. I know you see a lot of junk in here right now, but this is all baby related stuff. This is not things that I got recently. I showed you guys a while ago this baby changing table that I got at a flea market a couple summers ago with my mom. I think the first summer after I had started trying to conceive. It was $40 and it was the color wood that I want. If you can't see that, there's a dresser over here that's already in this room. That's the same shade of brown. And a couple other things on here, just things I already had a baby gate from when I had the dog to keep him out of certain places. And a friend of mine a while back, we did a swap where she gave me some baby gear and I gave her a bike for her daughter. So she gave me this diaper genie and a breast pump, and there's a stroller in the corner. The only other things over here are some books, a couple of my books from childhood that I kept because they were my favorite books. So like my first ever book was Ernie's bath book, and it's like soft in the bath. It's so beat up, but I have it and I'm gonna look for a similar one on Amazon. But enough rambling, I'm already with the rambling. So let me get started with the update. So before I get into the pregnancy update, I know what people want to know is what did I do different. So if you are new to my channel, I'll quickly recap. I did fertility treatments when I turned 35, or right before I turned 35. I was single and didn't really have any prospects in terms of husband material at the time, so I decided to become a single mother by choice, and I assumed I would get pregnant pretty easily because I was, at the time, I was just turning 35. So I started out with IUI at a fertility clinic that was recommended to me by my gynecologist using Frozen donor sperm, and I just expected it to work, and it did not work. And I went on to do 5 more IUIs, and on my 6th IUI, I did get pregnant, but it was ended up being a miscarriage. So actually this time, had that not happened, I would be about to have a 2-year-old this month actually. I would have been due around August of last year. So after the miscarriage, I did, how many more? Technically 3 more IUI cycles for a total of 9 IUI cycles, but one of those cycles I did back-to-back IUIs, so for a total of 10 IUIs. On my very last IUI attempt, I had a chemical pregnancy, so I saw a very faint line, I believe 13 days post-ovulation, and then that was it. So after that, I lost some weight, and I did IVF, and I did 1 fresh embryo transfer, and then I did a 2nd embryo transfer. They both failed. After the 2nd one, I was really upset and just was really contemplating quitting. At that point, it had been just basically exactly 2 years that I had been trying to conceive actively. It was I think my frozen embryo transfer was on the 2-year anniversary of my first ever IUI. So I was really upset, but decided to keep going. I went on vacation to Cuba, and because I went to Cuba, it was a Zika risk area. I had to wait several weeks before I could try again to get pregnant. So during that break time, I did the ERA test, which is, I believe, endometrial receptor analysis. No, that's wrong. I always say analysis. It's endometrial receptor array test, where they test to see when your receptors kind of open up in your uterus to catch an embryo. and that happens based off of like progesterone. So I did that test, and that came back that I needed 12 additional hours of progesterone. So then I had the frozen embryo transfer a few weeks ago, and you guys saw from the last video that the pregnancy tests were coming up positive. So here I am now giving you guys my pregnancy update. So what I did different with this second frozen embryo transfer from the previous one and from the fresh was I went by myself. The first 2 times I went with my cousin, which was great and awesome to have her support. But I think it did make me, I don't want to say not be as relaxed, but we ended up like hanging out afterwards at the mall and like chatting and stuff. And I don't think that had anything to do with it, but I really just kind of wanted to lay down after it was over. So that I did do this time. I actually treated myself to what I called a writercation, because I have to do a lot of writing for my Chasing Joy lifestyle inspiration brand. So I actually booked a hotel for the weekend. There was a hotel right across the street from the clinic. So right after the embryo transfer, I went over to the hotel, and if you guys saw that long video, I did that like a video vlog video, so I kind of kept you guys with me that whole day. So I checked into the hotel. Another thing that I did different was I put my feet up. So because I was checking into the hotel right away after, maybe it was like an hour or so after, I laid on the couch and I put like my feet up where your head would be and dropped my head down. And I didn't do it too long, just maybe like 5 minutes or so, but that was different. I kept it at very low activity because I was at the hotel. Like I didn't even cook or clean up or anything. And I got room service. A couple other things that I did, which I honestly, I'm gonna get to it, but I really don't think any of these things had any bearing. But these are just still, people want to know what I did different. So I wore loose clothing every day, nothing tight around my waist, around my pelvis area. And I did not sleep on my stomach. Like I made a point to sleep on my back, because in my mind I was like, oh, you might be like squishing it, even though I know biologically that's not how our bodies work. But that's what I did. Another thing I did, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw in my Instagram stories a while ago that I was eating Brazil nuts. I had read that they were good for helping your lining and stuff, so I was eating about 3 Brazil nuts a day leading up to the transfer and first couple days after. And I don't like nuts at all, so that was like huge for me, but I figured out if I stuff them inside of a prune, because I like prunes, that I could get the nut down. But overall, I would have to say the main thing that made the difference, I think this time from the previous 2 transfers, was the information from the ERA. So to get the 12 additional hours of progesterone, I gave myself my progesterone injections in the morning between say 5 and 6:30 a.m. instead of doing them like between 7 and 9 at night. So I think that was the big difference, because that's what the tests showed that I needed, the extra. And that also made it so that I'd be taking a dose the morning of the transfer as opposed to not taking a dose till in the evening after. So that also gave me an extra dose prior to the embryo transfer. And I'm going to be honest here, and I'm not told my doctor or nurse this, but I still had progesterone suppositories left over from my IUI days. So a couple of times when I did the injection, sometimes when you take the needle out, you'll see some of the chemical, because I'm taking progesterone and ethyl oleate, kind of come out of the little hole. So a couple of times it seemed like it was a lot, I gave myself a progesterone suppository just like as a little extra insurance. Oh, and then the other thing that was different from the previous transfers is the amount of progesterone was increased to 2 cc's as opposed to 1 cc. So after the second fresh embryo transfer, I asked them to run my progesterone when they did the beta, and they actually came back lower than they expected, so they increased it. So those were the main things that were different between this so far successful cycle and the previous. So, and if you guys saw in the video, I tested on 5 days post 5-day transfer, and I saw a faint line. And since then, the lines have only gotten darker. Today is actually Monday, August 21st. Today's the eclipse day. For those who kept up with that, I live in Philly, so we weren't in the direct, I forget the proper term, but we weren't in direct view of a full eclipse. We still got like 20% sun. So it did get a little cloudy. It looked like a rainstorm was coming, but nowhere near as dramatic as I thought it might be outside. Anyway, all that to say, already rambling. And so I tested on 5 days post 5-day transfer, and today will be 11 days post 5-day transfer, and I've not yet tested today. I've been testing in the evening because I realized this cycle and from the cycle when I was pregnant before that my first morning's urine is lighter than later in the day. So rather than stress out that it looked lighter than the evening before, I'm just sticking to testing around the same time each day, or between like 7 and 8 p.m. So, before I get into the pregnancy update kind of data, symptoms that I had before I tested. So the night after, so I had the embryo transfer, I went to bed. In the middle of the night, that night, I woke up with a really, really sharp pain in my uterus area. And I was like, oh, hopefully that's implantation. And then after that, I had light cramping and some low back pain, and then the acne came on my nose and my forehead. I had creamy white CM. There was enough that I noticed, but nothing like crazy where I would need a liner. And then some days I had some constipation, and then I also had some indigestion and bloating. If you saw the video where I was deciding if I was going to test on 5 days post transfer or not, I ended up actually burped in the video, which is embarrassing, but proof that I did have the indigestion. So right now, today, I am 4 weeks and 2 days. And I'm going to be basically giving you guys an update on what happened in pregnancy in week 3. So like I said, today I'm 4 weeks, 2 days. I have 35 weeks and 5 days left. And so for week 3, or I think as of right now, as of week 4, the baby is the size of a poppy seed. So I've never seen a poppy seed by itself, but I'm thinking of a bagel, like a poppy seed bagel, and the little things on there. So as for week 3, so the symptoms that continued during week 3 were I've continued to have the cramping and lower back ache. I had headache come on and off here or there, and then I started to have more vivid dreams during that time. They weren't always pleasant dreams, but they were very, very vivid. And then just in general, on the day that I ended up testing, which was 5 days post 5-day transfer, I just felt crappy. I just felt so just like uncomfortable and just like achy and backache and cramping. I just felt crappy. All right. So the most significant thing that happened during week 3, obviously, was the positive pregnancy test. It was on 5 days. Weight gain or loss. So I've already gained 2.8 pounds. That's partially because I had been on a weight loss challenge prior to the embryo transfer, like a week before, so I had lost some weight. So I know some of the 2.8 is just I'm not doing the things that I was doing during the weight loss challenge. But also, I think some of it is just retaining a little bit of fluid. Okay, sorry about that. The I ran out of space, so the video cut off. So I'm going to just pick up where I left off. So I was talking about weight gain or loss. So as of this morning, I gained like 2.8 pounds. But like I said, some of that's just because I'm not doing the weight loss challenge that I was doing before, and some of it's probably just water. Who have I told? I've only told one person. I've told my cousin, who's going to be the kids' godmom. It's been hard to not tell people because I've been feeling very optimistic. I still have not had the beta at the time that I'm recording this video, but the test line as of a couple days ago got darker than the control line, and these tests look much more promising than my miscarriage, so I'm optimistic. So part of me wants to start telling people, but I'm holding out at least until I do the betas. Aversions. So I have had an aversion, but it's funny. I can't blame it on the pregnancy because I've had it since before then. I realized a few weeks ago that I've stopped caring for chicken, and I normally like chicken, but even chicken that I've made myself, like I've baked chicken, and I've just not liked it. And I mentioned it to my cousin, and I also went to Popeyes, and I normally really like their fried chicken, and I did not like it at all. And I mentioned to my cousin, and she said, oh, well, maybe it's like hormonal. And then I realized that ever since I started taking the estrogen, which you take for I think I took for 3 weeks prior to the embryo transfer, that I had not liked chicken. So I'm thinking it has to do with the estrogen. Now, flip side, cravings. My craving, though, is also chicken, which is bizarre. I really crave KFC fried chicken, which I know is terrible for you. Fast food is not good, or my advocating, but I really craved it, and I was like, oh, this was last week during 3 weeks, when I was 3 weeks pregnant. So I said, no, I'm gonna get it. I got it, and it was so good. I was not expecting it to be good because I hadn't liked the other chicken or even the Popeyes. And then I got it again a couple days later. Then I wanted it again, but I didn't get it again. I wanted it yesterday, and I didn't. Instead, I ate salad. But that's an odd thing, so I don't know what that's about. Belly button in or out. So I have an innie. I would be surprised if it turns into an outie because I'm already overweight, so there's already a lot of cushion in that area. So I don't know if overweight women, when they get pregnant, if their belly buttons pop. I'll probably would have what they call a bead belly, and I'll do a bump shot at the end of this, so you'll see what I'm talking about. But I don't think I'm going to have like the perfectly round D belly that you typically see on TV because I already have extra fluff in the front. How's my sleep been? My sleep has not been good. I have been more tired. The fatigue has started. I didn't really have it in week 3, but I do have some now. But I think it's also because I'm not sleeping well. I'm having these really vivid dreams, but then they wake me up. So I've been waking up, and then I have a hard time going back to sleep. So my sleep's been interrupted and not great quality. Gender predictions. I have no clue. I'm just so excited to have a positive test right now that I can't even begin to predict. Exercise. So week 3 of pregnancy, I did not do any exercise at all. I didn't even really walk anywhere. The only thing that I did that was kind of strenuous is I had a barbecue this past weekend, so I did have to do like cleaning around the house and getting groceries and stuff. But you know what, God is amazing, because I was really stressed about, oh, when I go buy all these like cases of sodas and water, how I'm going to get them into the house because you're not supposed to be lifting too much. And I did the I go to ShopRite, and I did the ShopRite from home where you order and pick it up. When I got there, my order was not ready, so they delivered it for me for free. So that worked out perfectly because I didn't have to carry anything. So that was a huge blessing, disguised in, you know, my stuff not being ready. Medications. So right now I'm still doing the progesterone and ethyl oleate, the 2 cc's every morning. Sorry if you hear that noise. The cats are in here and they're starting to do their little play fighting thing. So ignore any noises that you hear other than me talking. But I'm still doing the progesterone and ethyl oleate. I'm still doing the estrogen, which is 2 milligrams twice a day. I'm still doing baby aspirin, vitamin E, prenatals. I'm still on metformin. I'm still on my Synthroid medication, which they increased to 100. And the doctor did call me a couple days after the transfer. I'm sorry, not the doctor, the nurse, and let me know my thyroid numbers were back in a good range. They were like 1.3, which is good. And what else am I taking? Vitamin D gummy version, vitamin C gummy version, and then I did add a little bit of B3 niacin a couple days after the transfer, because those, I'm sure if you're trying to conceive, you heard those news reports where they were saying increasing vitamin B3 can help ward off miscarriage and stuff. And then I heard some conflicting things. So in the reports, they were saying if you take above the recommended. So I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to do the recommended dosage, which is 100 milligrams. And I'm just doing like half in the morning and half later on at night. So those are the meds that I'm taking. Purchases. So in terms of maternity clothes, obviously I've not purchased any yet. However, when I was feeling pretty bloated last week on week 3, so I felt like I couldn't fit some things. So I'm going to try and wear these pants that I really like that are new tomorrow, because they probably won't fit much longer. In terms of baby gear, I already showed you guys or explained to you guys what's already in the room. And baby clothes, I actually did purchase something. This is my first ever purchase for a baby. And I saw it was so cute, and I remember hearing someone describing cut off again. But I'm just ending by saying I'm going to speed up the videos for the pregnancy updates and do multiple of these beginning weeks at a time, because they probably will be very similar from week to week, so that you guys can then be current with me and there won't be any more delay, and you'll be finding out things pretty much in real time. So anyway, that's all I have for now. Please, please keep me in prayer that this pregnancy continues to progress beautifully, and for God's guidance as I become a mom. So thankful that He would have trusted me to be the mom for one of His children, one of His souls. So please keep me in prayer, and thanks for watching, and looking forward to keeping up with you guys as well. So definitely, if you have your own channels, TTC or pregnancy update channels, definitely let me know in the comments so that I can visit you guys as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. My first pregnancy update.